sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Yes, we are fond of our sponsors, especially Bloombank Africa Global Properties, JFIN Money Transfer, TAF Africa Global, Trust Bank Global Auto Care, Jar Oil, Wave the Gambia. Those are the main sponsors of the program. And then we also have support from Reliance Financial Services. I mean, you can see evidence of them throughout the studio. The Forbes Academy, GPPC, GRA, and of course Comium. These are the people who make it possible for us to be here every morning. And they also benefit the government, because every week this man, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, has the opportunity to appear on this program to tell us what the government is doing, never what the government is not doing, and also taking your questions, which, it has to be said, is not a common thing in most African countries. You go to some African countries, ministers hardly go to even the national radio station, talk less of a small, struggling, private station like West Coast Radio and a program like Coffee Time, which is why we always lament the fact that government doesn't want to support our program. But yeah, we don't mind accommodating government every week in the person of Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. And today, before him, you had the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Doc, good to have you here. I understand you took time off the president's current infrastructure tour, or is it what, road
development tour?
Well, it's characterized differently on social media.
It's development tour.
Just to come and share the platform again with us and take listeners' questions. That is commitment. Well done. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
Welcome back.
I think for me, the highlight of this interaction on the radio is the feedback we get from the people. It helps us. It serves as a navigation for us. It gives us direction. It tells us what the public is thinking. Feeling the public pulse is important for any government that wants to succeed.
And do you feel that you are succeeding because of what you feel about the public pulse?
Yes, it's important to know what Gambians are going through.
Okay.
It's important to know their thoughts, but also their challenges. We are able to solve them. That is why whenever there's an issue that is of great public concern, the government reacts to it and tries to find a solution immediately to that problem. We don't ignore public sentiments. We listen to public sentiments and we try to deal with those sentiments.
Oh, you do. Very good, very good. At this time yesterday, where were you?
At this time yesterday, I was in Mansa Konko, heading towards Farafenye. And what we see on the screen, insofar as this tour is concerned, is only the road inaugurations, the laying of foundation stones, and the meetings. But behind the scenes, a lot more happens. For example, I'll give an example. The past 2 days, from 9:10 a.m. to the time before the president leaves the residence and goes to the activities, he interacts with quite a lot of Gambians behind the scenes, group after group. I was there and I witnessed it. Every group from all walks of life across the region where he is, for example, was the North Bank region, women groups, youth groups, farmers, welders, you name it. That is how busy his schedule is. So the whole morning the president is busy meeting with these people and also listening to them. But also
is that the president calling you?
No. And also trying to...
Do you have a special ringtone for the president?
No. And also try to solve their problems. And for me, that is the highlight of these tours. So it's beyond what we see on these cameras. Behind the scenes, the president does a lot of engagement, meeting people and trying to resolve some of their issues.
The reason why I asked where you were at this time yesterday was not actually to hear about the activities of the president, even though we will be, hearing more about that later on. It was more because I had the new flag bearer of Coalition 2026. You know there's a Coalition 2026.
It's a monolation 2026.
There's a what?
It's called a monolation. There's no coalition. A coalition is composing of a plethora of political parties coming together.
They have 10.
What are those? Name me 10. Name me only one political party in this coalition 2026.
Unite Party.
That's why it's a monolation. It's a mono. That's the only political party. Everything, there's no political party. So you cannot call it. It's disservice to the Gambian people to call it coalition because there's no political party there. It's a monolation. One party standing and fooling themselves and deceiving themselves, calling them coalition 2026. And let me tell you something. I've been observing recently with the coalition building maneuvering. This is the most comical I've seen in the history of this country, insofar as coalition building is concerned.
Comical? What's funny about it?
Now, you have the coalition 2026 apparently going on, and parties ejecting themselves as they go once they realize the process was predetermined and it was rigged. They all left. At the same time as that is going on, when Unite is part of, Unite was forming a separate coalition with NUP, Lamin J. Dabo. It means that Unite had no intention to accept any other outcome from Coalition 2026 apart from them leading. Because if the process was followed and free and fair, and Unite did not lead that coalition, they would not support the candidate who won. They go and form an alliance with NUP and still contest. It means there's no trust and faith in that coalition. That is why everybody left. All those who were there assaulted, they left the coalition. Now, that the coalition 2026 is now dead. I announced its obituaries.
Dead?
And buried. I announced its obituaries.
I just said they just,
I'm coming. Let me develop.
Okay.
I announced its obituaries 2 weeks ago. That it was announced that it will be buried on the 8th. That's on Sunday. It was buried, dead and buried. Now, and what happened of that outcome is that even the chairperson of the Coalition 26, Professor Mbalo, and the Famara Tambajang, they all walked out. Now, how can you be the chairperson of the coalition, supposed to oversee and then make sure that everything is on course? You, even the chairperson, left the coalition. What is left there then? One person, one party, anointing themselves as a so-called coalition 2026 flag bearer. For me, it's a monolation. That is one thing. Now, at the same time, a parallel coalition building is taking place in so-called Apex framework, where you have now NUP in that one, you have Sobe in that one, you have Tabaharium in that one, you have UDP in that one, you have JFN, that is also going on separately. I've never seen a more confusing, comical coalition building process anywhere in the world than we have witnessed. And I think it's really embarrassing, to be honest. So what is really happening, we don't know. We cannot, these guys, I told you from the onset, there is no common principle, no common ideology, no common values, no common program, nothing. The only thing they have in common is that there is a driver on the driver's seat who is driving this car to destination Gambia, and it's on its 5th gear now, going at a speed where after the 6th gear the car might fly and take us to heaven. All they want is for us to remove the driver so they can become the driver, because they think in their mind, and this is just a perception, that there is high premium in political power. That political power comes with privileges, but I know how difficult.
Doesn't it?
It doesn't. Political power is service to the people, sacrifice. It involves, like I said, I've watched, the more I get closer to power, the more understand the complexities and the challenges related to power. I am telling you, the president doesn't. If you just watch during this tour, it's sacrifice, nothing else. So for me, which is which?
Sacrifice.
The coalition 2026 is now a monolith. One man standing, one party standing, nobody else is there. I have seen some very funny names. People who call themselves so-called movements who were there. In fact, some of them are even leaving as we speak. So where is the coalition? I'm asking you a question. Name me one political party in that coalition apart from Unite. One.
I don't have my lady.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because DOI is not there. GDC is not there.
Yeah, GDC cannot be there. GDC
no, I'm just
is
telling you. Okay, and GDC were there initially. They are not there anymore. UDP is not there. GFA not there. NUP not there. Nobody's there. Only Unite. So how can you call that a coalition flag bearer? It's a monolithian flag bearer. Only mono, one party.
Okay,
one
all right.
party.
Okay, call him whatever you will. Yeah. But he was on the show. He was on the show, and he emphasized the fact that definitely by next month, Unite is going to be, indisputably the biggest party in this country. So how can you claim that you're seeing all those people and whatever?
Dream is free. It doesn't cost anything to dream.
So is that what you're doing?
No, but let him dream.
Who?
Unite, let them dream. Let Talib dream. The Unite is going to be the biggest party in the Gambia by next month.
Yes.
Next month will never fail us. It will come. So let's wait until next month and see which party is the biggest party. What I've seen, Peter, I've been on tour with the president. What I've seen, in terms of the development the president is doing up country, from roads infrastructure to health infrastructure, to giving out of ambulances, to education infrastructure, to agricultural support for farmers. Believe me, what I've seen, if only people vote because of delivery, what the president has delivered, if that is what informs people's decision how they vote, if it's only based on delivery, the president will not get anything less than 75% of the votes in these elections.
Minimum 75.
Minimum 75. If there are no other criteria, there are no other determinant factors how people vote. If voting is only left on what the president has delivered across, and that's everywhere in the world. If it is only LUMDEF, what he has delivered, if that is the only thing that determines how people vote, if he gets less than 75% of the votes, I'll be surprised. And I'm speaking from what I've seen up country. I'm speaking from places I've been to who were once cut off from civilization, now have
places like
Buduk, places like another place in CRR where now.
You've been to Buduk?
I was there yesterday. I've seen the road.
Okay.
And those villages all across the Hakalang Loop. Yesterday I took the Hakalang Road. I thought I was driving somewhere in the UK highway. Beautiful, smooth, nice. The infrastructure is top notch. And there are villages that were once cut off from civilization are all connected now to the national highway grid. You go to, and some of the roads we've just laid foundation stones. These roads, nobody in their really right mind would think that you'll get roads for these villages. And it's not politically motivated. You know why? Because some of these villages don't have many votes. They're not like highly densely populated populations. 1, 2, 3 villages, president giving them roads. It's part of national development. And electricity also. Places that they told you they've never, ever in their lifetime thought that they would live to witness to have their own fridge and their own air conditioners to drink cold water. And now they're having electricity. That is why I'm saying that based on what I've seen, let's put politics aside. Let's put inducements aside. If people vote only because of what the president has delivered in terms of basic services, 75% is in the bags.
Would roads count as inducements in some areas?
No, it's not inducement. It's development. Okay. This is development. Roads are no inducements.
Like giving the people of Kiang roads after they've been neglected by, allegedly by the first two presidents. Would that not count as inducement somehow?
It is development. The president has a vision to take development to the rural areas, to decongest urban Gambia, and ensure that those in rural Gambia also benefit from the national cake. That is why. And he doesn't consider whether you voted for him or not. In Bani Salikenye, Njaba Kunda, that loop, beautiful road, connecting those communities, even though some of their opposition, the central body. But the president doesn't take those things into consideration. He believes and gives it all to people who need it, the communities who need it and who deserve it. And that is what he's doing.
And how do the people respond? For instance, especially when they have him in their midst, do they openly say these things? Oh, we appreciate this road, and for that reason,
Of course.
we are pledging our allegiance and blah blah blah.
We've collected a lot of content, talking to people. For me, when I go to these places, Peter, and I see the roads, and I see the electricity, and I see the schools, and I see the hospital. For yesterday, we opened two health posts yesterday. One in Buduk, and the other in there is this village just after Makafarafenye. We also opened another health post there. And when I see this health post, when I see these roads, I don't think of the investment. For example, look at Hakalang, for example. I don't think of $1.2 billion is invested in it. I don't think of the 84 kilometers. What I think of is that how has this road impacted on healthcare in this area? Giving access to people to healthcare centers, giving people access to schools, giving access to farmers to markets, giving access to communities to be able to go and engage with other communities in terms of the in terms of connectivity. This is what I see is the human stories behind the kilometers, the human stories behind the dollars that are invested into this, the human stories behind the health post which is there. That's just an infrastructure. The lives it is going to save. For me, that is what is important for me, and we've seen that, and people are coming out in their thousands to express their appreciation and gratitude to the government of the president of the republic, Honorable His Excellency the President, of how these things will transform their lives, the lives of their children, the lives of farmers. And like I said, in terms of farmers, 75% of Gambians are engaged into some form of farming. The amount of investment we've done in farming is unmatched, and farmers are happy across the country, and we've seen this.
You were on a program with me when somebody sent a message about breakups in the Hakalang Road and questioning the quality of the road. Was there any evidence of that?
No, the Hakalang Road is the smoothest road I have driven a car on. I can't remember. Go, Peter, take your camera and go to Hakalang Road from the horse's mouth.
Give me the money for it.
We'll give it to you. We can arrange that. I want you to go to Hakalang and see whether there are any cracks there. It's very smooth.
You're on. Fatu, you're on.
We will organize a trip. I've told you this before. For you to go and... when you sit here, people just text you. I want you to go. Take a day. Cross the ferry. You enjoy the ride and the new Barra ferry, the new green ferry. Enjoy the ride. Quick. 19-18 minutes is in Barra.
I won't bump into the first lady and she tried to stop me boarding
No, she never did that. She never did that. So you'll enjoy the ride of the Barra first. You'll get to Barra. You'll go to Hakalang. You'll go to Bani Saleh, Kenya. You'll see firsthand what I'm talking about, so that you don't listen to hearsay.
So no evidence of the edges of the road already,
Please, Peter.
wearing away,
No.
being washed away and all of that.
Look, when I mean, even responding to that would even dignify those allegations. It doesn't exist. This is one of the finest roads you can find in Africa.
Okay.
It's Hakalang.
But again, going back to this interview yesterday, which you didn't listen for obvious reasons, you were busy with the president. One of the we made a comparison because he was beginning a tour, President Barrow and the UK Prime Minister and the Burnham. I mean, because you like to make comparisons. Cost of living is high here. Why don't you go and compare the cost of living in the UK? And he was also doing a nationwide tour, but this was a cost of living tour. So president is doing what? Development tour? Is
Development
it? You're
tour.
calling it people call it the roads tour and develop. So why can't the president do a cost of living tour?
Well, look, Peter, we have governments respond to the needs of their people. You don't respond based on anecdotal evidence. What the president does when he goes on these tours is not only to inaugurate new projects or lay foundations, he also listens to what the people need. And based on data from the previous tour, from Barra to Fonyi, nobody talked about the cost of living as their problem. And this is data.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That is why the president gives platform and listens to the people. All the people are asking for in these areas is what the president is giving them. We want clean water. We want roads. We want schools. We want hospitals. We want support for farmers. And that is what the president is giving them. You cannot give the people what they are not asking for. And let me tell you something. Andy Bonham has been in power for less than 4 weeks, and he's gone on vacation. Imagine if President Barrow had done that. With all the cost of living crisis problem in the UK, he's on vacation, he's on leave with his family. That would have caused uproarium in this country if the president, after 4 weeks, all this crisis happening, say, I'm going on vacation with my family. So for us, the cost of living crisis, for me, it's not even a crisis in the Gambian context. It's the cost of living challenge. It's mostly an urban phenomenon, and we understand that. The urban areas has more middle class, but when it comes to rural areas, you know how we're able to deal with the cost of living challenge in rural areas?
No.
Most rural people are into farming. Their livelihoods come from farming. They farm
because they do
during
subsistence
the year.
farming.
Exactly. They farm, they keep some for the year, and they sell some and buy the things they need. Now, in urban Gambia, there are people who are sitting whole day doing nothing. They don't want to work. They don't want to engage in any livelihood activities. And they say they can be the famity. The famity. Who's going to feed you? Who's going to buy you a bag of rice? So for us, the president is responding to what the people are asking for. And what they're asking for is water, electricity, roads, schools, support for farmers. That is what the president is doing. And women empowerment programs, like the so-called matching grants for farmers, for poultry, rice, growth, and so on and so forth. So for us, to be honest, the president is going on a development tour because the people are asking for development. In the UK, and the Bonham is going on a cost of living tour because cost of living is the major problem in the UK today, which has led to the changing of almost 7 prime ministers within 10 years.
That's interesting because according to Unite, they did their own survey, and the number one concern for Gambians, and meaning from Banjul to, what's the last point?
Fatoto.
It's Fatoto, not Koina.
Well, Koina is behind. Yeah, Banjul to Koina, yeah. Koina. It's around the same area.
All right.
Yeah, Banjul to Koina.
So number one is cost of living. Number 2, security.
Well, like I said, Peter, we collected data. We've gone around the country, and we've given people platform. Go and watch all the videos from the previous 2-3 tours the president has done this and last year. Whether you'll hear any single speaker who talked about security or the cost of living. It doesn't exist. Now, obviously, Unite can live in fantasy, listening to what's on social media, because they're a social media entity. So their survey is done on social media.
Unite is a social media entity?
Of course. A social media entity. They are more on social media than connected to the people. So all they speak about is from social media. They go on social media and listen. And most people who comment on social media are not even living in the Gambia. It's based on perception. Security, yes, it's a challenge, but it's not one of our biggest challenges in this country. It's one of the most secure, stable countries in Africa, to the extent that it has been crowned the 4th safest country in the continent. So security is a challenge. Like anywhere else in the world, security is a challenge. But we haven't reached that stage yet where it is a major challenge. And we are doing everything possible to make sure we even deal with that challenge. So it's not a problem. The people in the Gambia today want clean water, the communities. The farmers want support. They want cheap fertilizer. They want seeds. They want equipment. People want schools for their children so they don't have to walk kilometers to go to access schools. People want, right now, today, Gambia is one of those countries with almost near universal access to education, basic and secondary education, to the extent that every child has a school within 2 kilometers radius of where you live. And our target now, the number of health posts we are building on hospitals and healthcare centers, our target is people should get access to hospitals or health facility within 3 kilometers radius of where they are living. This is what we are working toward. This is what people are asking for. Farmers are asking for fertilizer. Women are asking for healthcare facilities. Parents are asking for more schools so their kids can go to school. Communities are asking for roads so they can access facilities. This is what we are giving to the Gambian people.
Fantastic. It's a minute past 10 o'clock and you want to be out here by 10:15. Let's start with the updates.
His Excellency the President is on tour. And he has visited many communities. And the tour has not even ended yet. In the North Bank, yesterday we entered CRR, but since Saturday we are in the North Bank. He was in Bara, where he laid a foundation stone for a new road that connects Bara and SAO. He was in Fast Nyaga Choi. Again, I think that was a healthcare ambulance was given there. In Bakalar, in Jurunku, all these were roads. Foundation stone in Kir Sambakala, roads connecting many communities. Kir Omar Sen, roads connecting many communities. In Kuntaya, roads connecting many communities. In Jabakunda, we opened a new road. In Bani Sanikanya, new road. Ndugu Kebe, Darurilwan, the road connecting the main road to Darurilwan itself has been bad for many men, and people have been crying for this. We've laid a foundation stone there. In Tankonja, in Karantaba, Reneru, also new roads will be inaugurated in Tabanane, in Demfanjaga. So all these places he had visited. He also launched and handed over and inaugurated major road projects, including approximately 260 kilometers under the Connect Gambia Infrastructure Project and 26 kilometer Karantaba, Reneru, Tabanane, Demfai, Njaga, Fitufula Road. This road is state-of-the-art road with street lights in the heart of rural Gambia. Now, also the 12-kilometer Njao Loop was also opened yesterday, connecting many communities in Central River region. He also handed over ambulances to strengthen rural healthcare and improve access to essential services. Now, our policy is that every community, at every cluster of 10 to 12 villages should have one ambulance. And that is what we are doing, serving those cluster of communities. Again, the president yesterday, accompanied by the agriculture minister and also other ministers, visited Giraffe Agro-Logistics Center in Makafarafenya. I have seen this edifice yesterday. Amazing. Now, this facility is to improve agricultural production in the Gambia. It will provide storage processing, market access. It will have, the entire value chain. It's a massive, massive project. It's under construction, almost 85% done. Yesterday, the president visited that one. But also at the same time also, the Giraffe project also signed agreement with 2 microfinance institutes to facilitate over $156 million in matching grants to 214 beneficiaries across the country. Now, the funds will support business in rice, maize, poultry, cashew, and horticulture with the aim of increasing food production in this country as part of our food security drive, creating employment, but also helping farmers to transition from subsistence to market-driven agriculture. Now, the government has one main priority insofar as agriculture is concerned. One is to remove seasonal farming, to make it year-round farm. That is why we are investing so much in irrigation infrastructure, but at the same time also shift away from subsistence farming to large-scale commercial farming. So they are able to feed our people, but also export what is remaining to outside of the country. Now, the president also last week received the Speaker of the Parliament of Lesotho, Honorable Tio Hang Sekhamani, who commended the Gambia's progress in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. His delegation visited and learned from the Gambia Development Financing and Community Development Programs. And President Barrow highlighted resource mobilization, that is domestic, as our priority now, but also promotion of trade, national security, and also other areas that support national development. Now, the Office of the Vice President also had a very important engagement last week where he received EU Ambassador Immaculada Roca E. Cortez at State House to discuss EU-Gambia cooperation. The discussions covered agriculture, education, tourism, migration, governance, elections, and economic development. Now, the EU reaffirmed support for food security, youth empowerment, migration management, and electoral processes. Now, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education has also announced that the Lower River Regional Laboratory is under construction in Mansakonko to strengthen science education in rural schools. The facility will provide students with opportunities for practical learning in chemistry, physics, agricultural science, and biology. Now, the project forms part of the ministry's efforts to decentralize education facilities with support from MRC Holland Foundation, of course. Like the Ministry of Lands, this is a very important press release from the Ministry of Lands, has warned allottees of plots in the Brusubi mini institutional layout against unauthorized sales or transfers. The ministry stated that allocated plots cannot be transferred without prior written approval from the minister. It warned that unauthorized transactions could result in the revocation of allocations and advised the public not to purchase such plots. There's a layout in Brusubi for institutional purposes. It's been allocated to institutions, but some are in the business of reselling.
Oh, really?
Yes, and government is really frowning on that. Now, finally, the Ministry of Information had the children's
your
ministry, the Children's Mansakunda, last Saturday, where we brought in 150 children from the Children's National Assembly to interface with 9 ministers. From digital economy to environment, education, to youth and sports, to trade, public service, to gender, and ask these ministers questions concerning policies, programs, and initiatives that are geared towards making the lives of our children more comfortable to live in this country. So these are the updates from.
It went well? Well, your ministry also issued a press release denying claims that the First Lady prevented an opposition politician, precisely Ibrahim Diba of Unite, from boarding a ferry to the other side of the country. So what's your, because you were on tour, huh? You had already crossed with the ferry.
That day I was in Kuntaya.
Yeah, you were in Kuntaya.
I was in Kuntaya when we got information about the incident at the ferry terminal in Banjul. One thing I can confirm is that the First Lady never did give any authorization whatsoever to stop Mr. Diba from getting into the ferry.
How did you confirm that?
I spoke with the First Lady herself and also other eyewitness accounts who were there, who got in touch and gave us the full details of the story. Now, in fact, it was the First Lady herself, when she heard and realized that they were trying to stop Mr. Diba from entering the ferry, who called the manager. I was there with the manager. In fact, I was with Silla and the manager together. And I heard her tell the manager that make sure he enters this ferry and don't stop him from entering the ferry. That I'm an eyewitness to that. Now, even Mr. Diba himself, in his account, said that it's a hearsay. Someone told him, and that he never saw the First Lady giving instructions. That somebody told him is the First Lady who said. But this is hearsay. He was misinformed by that person. The First Lady will never stop anybody from entering that ferry. She's not the type of person, and I can vouch for that. And in fact, for me, what convinced me was that the First Lady did not even know I was with Manka and Silla when he called to say, I heard this is happening outside, because the First Lady already entered the ferry. She wouldn't know what's happening at the back. But when she got the news that was the case, she said, she gave that don't stop him from entering this ferry. He has a right to enter the ferry, allow him to enter. In fact, before even that message came in, Mr. Diba was already inside the ferry. So for me, it was just right that we came out to debunk that misinformation that the First Lady had given specific instructions to stop Mr. Diba from entering the ferry, which information was false.
Do you know what was behind the, push and pull between him and ferry officials?
Between who?
Diba, you said,
No, so what happened was that the protocol dictates that when the First Lady or the First Family or the President is traveling and using the Vice President, they are given priority. Now, in this case, I understand that this Head of Security breached that protocol and let Mr. Diba's car inside to near the ferry. In fact, all cars should be parked outside. But he single-handedly went outside, beat the queue, and brought Diba's car specifically inside the terminal, which should not have been the case. He should have avoided that scenario. So when the First Lady's car or the entourage is in and there is space, other cars are allowed to enter. Now, in this case, Diba was forcing himself, based on accounts I received, to say, you must enter the ferry, but they said, no, you have to wait until the First Lady enters. That led to a fracas, and then he misinterpreted that, apparently as instructions for him not to join the ferry, but there was no intention whatsoever to stop him from entering the ferry. The ferry is a public service. It belongs to every Gambian, and I think nobody has a right to stop anybody from getting into that ferry as long as you follow the queue. And
was it true that this person who brought the car over, jumped the queue, as you said, was suspended immediately?
It's not suspended. In fact, he wasn't even supposed to be there that day. He's a director level. He's a manager level staff.
Okay.
He's not supposed to be work on Sunday. Why he went there on Sunday, we don't know. So obviously, if you have instructions from your boss in the morning to say the First Lady is coming, allow cars to go with the ferry. But once you've got word that she's leaving the State House to come to the ferry, let all cars stay outside. Let the First Lady get into the ferry and others car will join. Specific instructions were given to this guy as to how to handle that protocol. And he breached that protocol, which in our view is insubordination. So therefore, he was asked to go home. And then later on, he'll answer questions as to why he behaved the way he behaved.
Okay, all right. Let's see if we have any messages for you. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please tell the minister if what he calls development is the only yardstick to win elections, then Jammeh would not have lost to Barrow. If people who speak during these meetings are told what to say, then you will not hear anything about cost of living.
Well, it's an insult to the people who are speaking in this meeting to say they were told what to say. Sometimes we have to be very careful what we say and how we label people. These are responsible adults who live in rural Gambia, who experience rural Gambia on a daily basis. Now, telling them that they've been told what to say is like you are treating them like children, and I think which is unfortunate. Now, when it comes to Jammeh, I don't know who this guy is, but I think if he was old enough to witness the Jammeh era atrocities, he would know that development was not the only reason, or the development thereof, why Jammeh was voted out. It has to also do with human rights and the safety of Gambians, and this is a fact. Everybody was was suppressed in this country. Rights were violated. People were forced to disappear. People were arbitrarily arrested and taken to Mile 2, and people were tortured in this country. All those were determinant factors why Gambians wanted to vote Jammeh out and wanted democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and stability. And Barrow has brought that in abundance in this country.
Somebody bringing in. I recently bought a trip of sand from Saro, and not only is the price increased from 8,500 to 10,000, but it is half sand, half shells. My concern is with the environmental effects this has and the effects on the quality of the structures such sand is going to use. My question is, are the activities of the company monitored and by whom?
The National Environment Agency is the body responsible to ensure that they do environmental impact assessments. And I think it's important they note this. I'll engage the director, is a very good friend of mine, Dr. Baji, to bring this to his attention, that there are complaints from the public that the trip of sand has some shells and can have environmental consequences, and he would look into this. But when it comes to the price, we cannot speak on that. That's a market dynamic. I don't know why we cannot. But the concern raised in terms of the shells being filled in the truck, it's an environmental issue. We'll engage NEA to deal with the situation.
Hi, Peter. Tell Mr. Ceesay that Mr. Diba was denied entry after the First Lady had already entered the ferry.
Like I said, I'm not saying that is not the case, but it's not on the instructions of the First Lady. That has to be very clear. He might have been by other personnel of the ferry. We don't know. We are not there. What we debunk, nobody said that he wasn't denied initially, but this was not on the instructions of the First Lady. That is very clear. That might have been the case by some one working in the supervisor. I don't know what the reason for that. We're not saying. What we are saying is that the First Lady never, under any circumstances, gave instructions for Mr. Diba not to board that ferry.
So given that the First Lady calls me, well, it's quarter past 10 already, calls me Uncle Peter, shows me all this respect. So if I were to cross at a time when she is crossing, she would still need me to wait until she had boarded and everything. And if her entourage is big enough to fill every space, on the ferry, then I'll be kept waiting. The ferry has to go and, offload her and others before it comes back for me. And you think I will sit and wait for that?
Even me, I will wait. Because this is an institution. It's not the person. It's the institution. Okay. That is important, and
it's
I think we need to accord our institutions the respect they deserve, because the institutions are a reflection of us. We voted that institution to be there to represent us. So therefore, we are doing ourselves the favor and not the First Lady herself, because they has to be the institution.
All right. Dr. Ceesay, you wanted to be here only until 10:15. It's 16 minutes past 10 o'clock. Thank you very much for the extra 1 minute, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday next week.
I'll send you the invoice for the extra 1 minute. Thank you.
Yëpp lay fay. Sant yàlla. Looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.